Weddings, parties, and special events are once-in-a-lifetime moments. These events are full of joy, laughter, and unforgettable memories. As photographers, we want to capture these precious moments. We want to keep them forever. Understanding your camera settings is key to taking stunning event photos. Mastering your camera settings gives you control. You can capture the mood and ambience of any event. You can use aperture to blur the background. This makes the subject stand out. You can use shutter speed to freeze action or show motion. Understanding ISO helps you get the right exposure, even in challenging lighting. When you control your camera settings, you make creative decisions. You are not just taking pictures, you are creating art. This essay will guide you through the essential camera settings. You'll learn how to use them creatively in various event situations. By the end of this guide, you'll be well equipped to capture stunning images. You'll be a confident event photographer. You'll preserve those special moments. Your photos will be cherished for a lifetime. The exposure triangle is the key to understanding photography. It consists of three elements: ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. These elements work together. They control the amount of light that reaches your camera's sensor. ISO refers to your camera's sensitivity to light. A lower ISO, like 100, is ideal for bright conditions. A higher ISO, like 1600 or above, is necessary for low light situations. Remember that increasing ISO can introduce noise or grain into your images. Aperture is the opening in your lens that controls the amount of light passing through. It is measured in f-stops. A wider aperture, like f1.8, lets in more light. It creates a shallow depth of field, blurring the background. A narrower aperture, like f8, lets in less light. It provides a larger depth of field, keeping more of the scene in focus. A shutter speed determines how long your camera's sensor is exposed to light. It is measured in fractions of a second. A fast shutter speed, like 1/500th of a second, freezes motion. Use it for action shots. A slower shutter speed, like 1/20th of a second, can blur motion. Use it for creative effects. Mastering the exposure triangle is crucial. It allows you to balance these three elements. You'll get well exposed and creatively inspiring images in any lighting condition. Before you start shooting, it's important to have the right camera setup. Choose the appropriate lens for the situation. A wide-angle lens is great for capturing group shots and the overall scene. A prime lens, such as a 50mm or 85mm, is perfect for portraits and detail shots. Set your camera to shoot in RAW format. This gives you the most flexibility in post-processing. You can adjust white balance, exposure, and other settings without losing image quality. RAW files are larger than JPEGs, so make sure you have enough memory card space. Familiarize yourself with your camera's menu and custom functions. Set up back button focus for faster and more accurate focusing. Assign frequently used settings to custom buttons for quick access. This will save you time and allow you to react quickly to changing situations. Don't forget to charge your batteries and format your memory cards. Having a backup camera body and extra lenses is always a good idea. Being prepared will allow you to focus on what matters most, capturing those special moments. Indoor ceremonies can present challenging lighting situations. Churches and reception halls often have dim lighting and mixed color temperatures. Use a fast lens with a wide aperture, like f2.8 or wider, to allow more light to reach your sensor. Increase your ISO as needed to maintain a fast shutter speed. This will help you avoid blurry images caused by camera shake or subject movement. Start with ISO 800 and adjust as needed based on the available light. Pay attention to white balance. Use the appropriate preset, such as tungsten or fluorescent, or set a custom white balance for accurate colors. If the lighting is particularly challenging, consider using a flash diffuser to soften the light and reduce harsh shadows. Remember to be respectful of the ceremony and avoid using flash if possible. Capture the emotion and intimacy of the event by focusing on the couple's expressions and interactions. Section 5. Outdoor receptions embracing natural light and open spaces. Outdoor receptions offer abundant natural light and beautiful backdrops. Take advantage of the soft, diffused light during the golden hour, the hour after sunrise and the hour before sunset, for stunning portraits and candid shots. Use a lower ISO, like 100 to 400, and a narrow aperture, say f8 to f16, to capture the details of the scene. Experiment with different compositions using natural elements like trees, flowers, or the sunset as backdrops. Be mindful of harsh shadows caused by direct sunlight. Use a reflector or fill flash to soften the shadows and create more even lighting on your subjects. Look for opportunities to capture candid moments of guests enjoying themselves. Outdoor receptions offer endless creative possibilities. Embrace the beauty of natural light and capture the joy and celebration of the event. Section 6. Evening celebrations, mastering the art of low-light photography. As the sun sets and the party begins, you'll need to adjust your camera settings for low-light conditions. Increase your ISO to 1600 or higher. Use a fast lens with a wide aperture to gather as much light as possible. Slow down your shutter speed if necessary, but be aware of potential blur caused by camera shake or subject movement. Use a tripod or stabilize your camera on a solid surface to avoid blur. Consider using off-camera flash to add light and create dramatic effects. Experiment with different flash techniques such as rear curtain sync to add a creative flair to your images. Don't be afraid to embrace the darkness and capture the energy and excitement of the evening celebration. Section 7. The power of focus. Autofocus techniques for sharp images. Sharp focus is essential for capturing those special moments. Most modern cameras offer various autofocus modes. Understanding how and when to use them is crucial. Single-shot autofocus, also known as AFS or one-shot AF, is ideal for stationary subjects. Continuous autofocus, or AFC, an AI servo, is best for moving subjects. It tracks the subject's movement and adjusts focus accordingly. Select the appropriate autofocus point or zone mode for your subject. Use single-point autofocus for precise focus on a specific area. Use zone or multi-point autofocus for moving subjects or when tracking focus across a larger area. Mastering autofocus techniques will ensure that your subjects are always in sharp focus. Section 8. White balance. Achieving accurate colors in any lighting. White balance ensures that the colors in your images are accurate and true to life. Different lighting conditions have different color temperatures. Your camera needs to be adjusted accordingly. Use the appropriate white balance preset for the lighting conditions, like daylight, shade, cloudy, tungsten, or fluorescent. If you're unsure, shoot in RAW format. You can adjust white balance in post-processing without losing image quality. For the most accurate white balance, set a custom white balance using a gray card or a neutral-colored object. This is especially important in mixed lighting conditions where the color temperature can vary. Accurate white balance will make your images look more natural and pleasing to the eye. Section 9. Exposure compensation, fine-tuning your images for perfection. Exposure compensation allows you to fine-tune your camera's meter reading to achieve the desired exposure. If your images are consistently too bright or too dark, you can use exposure compensation to adjust the overall brightness. Use positive exposure compensation, like +1/3, +2/3, or +1 to brighten the image. Use negative exposure compensation, like -1/3, -2/3, or -1 to darken the image. Experiment with different levels of exposure compensation to achieve the desired effect. Check your histogram to ensure that your images are properly exposed. The histogram is a graphical representation of the tonal range in your image. A well-exposed image will have a balanced histogram with no clipping of highlights or shadows. Mastering exposure compensation will give you greater control over the final look of your images. Section 10. Handling the unexpected. Adapting to changing conditions. Events are dynamic and unpredictable. Be prepared to adapt to changing lighting conditions, unexpected weather, and other challenges. Keep an eye on the weather forecast and have a plan in case of rain or extreme temperatures. Bring a camera cover and lens cloths to protect your gear from the elements. If the lighting changes suddenly, be ready to adjust your camera settings accordingly. Use your knowledge of the exposure triangle to maintain proper exposure. Don't be afraid to get creative and embrace the unexpected. Some of the most memorable images are often captured during unscripted moments. By remaining calm, adaptable, and resourceful, you'll be able to capture stunning images no matter what challenges you face.